Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever stared at a screen feeling like there just aren't enough hours in the day to test every possible input, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to take a highly theoretical testing concept and transform it into a brilliantly practical, time-saving tool for your daily QA workflow. We are talking about mastering equivalence partitioning. Okay, let's just be real for a second and acknowledge the massive overwhelm every single software tester faces. It is absolutely physically impossible to test every single user input without risking missed bugs. Think about a standard text box for a minute. How many different things could a user possibly type in there? Thousands? Millions? It's basically infinite. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the infinite input problem, define our equivalence classes, walk through the partitioning process, outline boundaries and best practices, and finish up with a real-world application. Starting off with Section 1, the infinite input problem and our testing constraints. Look, the exhausting approach of trying to test every variable manually is just a guaranteed one-way ticket to burnout and compromise software quality. If you try to test every single possible number or character combination, your testing cycle will literally never end. It's a complete waste of your valuable time. But on the flip side, if you just start randomly skipping inputs, you're playing a really dangerous game. You run the risk of missing critical, application-breaking bugs. We desperately need a systematic way to test less, but test way smarter. Moving right into Section 2, defining equivalence classes. This is our foundation. So, the absolute core of this is what we like to call the one-value rule. Equivalence partitioning simply means you're grouping inputs into specific classes where all values within that class behave identically within the system. Because inputs in the same class trigger the exact identical system behavior, you only ever need to test a single representative value from that partition. Honestly, if the system treats them the same, you should treat them the same. And that brings us to the magic number 1. This brilliantly illustrates the ultimate business value here. Testing just one single value per class drastically reduces your overall test count, all while completely maintaining your test coverage. You aren't guessing anymore. You are mathematically covering all the bases of how the system functions, but you're doing a fraction of the manual labor. It really is maximum coverage with minimum effort. All right, Section 3, the partitioning process, step by step. This step-by-step walkthrough is essentially your map for shifting from chaotic, random testing to organized, highly efficient testing. First, you identify the input conditions. What exactly is the system asking the user for? Second, you group those inputs into your equivalence classes based on how the system is supposed to respond. And finally, step 3, you select just one representative test value from each partition. That's the whole shebang. Let's look at how this actually plays out in action. To put this into perspective, think about a standard age field. We can break down a potentially infinite number of ages into just 3 highly manageable test buckets. Instead of manually testing someone who is 20 and then 21 and 22 and 23, we just look at the system rules. In this case, our partitions are simply under 18, 18 to 65, and over 65. If you test the age 30 and it works perfectly for the 18 to 65 bucket, well, testing age 40 isn't going to tell you anything new. You've just conquered an infinite input field with exactly 3 tests. You see this all the time with email input fields too. You can cleanly delineate an infinite combination of keystrokes into just 2 distinct classes, an invalid format and a valid format. You might have an invalid email missing the @ symbol, and then a valid standard format. Rather than trying thousands of different fake email combinations, you literally just need one valid format to test the success path and one invalid format to test the error handling. Next up, Section 4, boundaries and best practices, and how to avoid those common pitfalls. Now, if you want to execute the ultimate QA pro move, you combine equivalence partitioning with boundary testing. This guarantees you are catching those incredibly tricky edge case bugs right where the partitions meet. Developers, they often make those classic off by 1 errors in their code, like using a greater than sign when they really meant greater than or equal to. So for our age buckets, you don't just pick any random number. You test the boundaries. You test 17 and 18. You test 65 and 66. This pinpoints exactly where the system transitions from one behavior class to the next. To make sure you're actually saving time here, let's run through a few quick do's and don'ts. Do, group your inputs by identical behavior. and do test exactly one value per partition alongside your boundaries. But the biggest trap you absolutely must avoid? Spending an hour testing redundant values that all trigger the exact same code path. Seriously, trust your partitions.
Finally, Section 5, Real-World Application and Your Daily Workflow.
When you actually piece these techniques together for a concrete scenario, like a user registration page, you immediately achieve that maximum coverage with minimum effort. Think about testing a sign-up form that asks for an email and an age. Instead of blindly filling the thing out 100 times just to feel confident, you use your valid and invalid email partitions, combined with your 3 age partitions and their boundaries. Just like that, you've reduced days of random manual clicking into a super concise, highly targeted test suite that guarantees you won't miss a critical defect.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to really challenge how you approach your very next testing task. Look at the test cases you have planned for this afternoon. Which of your current test suites could you literally cut in half today using equivalence partitioning? I highly encourage you to drop your answers and tell us how many tests you managed to eliminate right down in the comments. Keep learning, keep optimizing, and always test smarter, not harder.